Arnie. Don't they call you Arnie?
Yeah, I gotta hit this go live button more often. I'm really bad at hitting that.
Show, update.
Hitting
All
go.
right, 1, 2, 3, or 5. Give me a number. Everybody chat. 1, 2, 3, or 5 right now.
5.
He says 5. I need votes from other people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y'all suck. You do food delivery? Oh, hell yeah, man. Tips are vital. It's good to know. Yeah, no, I gave him 20% on what he brought, which I spent a lot on. It's like $80 for my 5 6-pack.
5 6-packs for $80?
Threes.
I spent 50 on way fewer than that. So,
all right. So number 3 is Florida Man. Florida Man. Beer.
Yes, that one's good.
Cigar
City, yes.
Double IPA. We all know I love those. So it's a nice 8%er.
Cigar City's great, man. That's a great one to start out with. An 8%er.
Yeah.
Don't even.
Oh yeah.
Don't even fear. Don't even fear it. Just push it. Just get it. Like.
I got to be in the mood for deep rock, you know.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. I was
so.
saving it for a little bit. I'm gonna save mine until.
Yeah, you know me, man. There's no saving it. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. If you have something, raise your glass. Hope you're having a wonderful night. Thank you for joining us here live for the What the Wednesday podcast. Looking forward to some fun opinion conversation. I'm going to keep throwing the word opinion out there so people know. Oh.
All right. If you keep moving that much, I might have to shrink you down just a little bit.
I'm moving a lot?
Just because I have you, like, if you were to look on the YouTube side right now, I have you. You're like,
I'll pull it up.
It's like massive, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that in a mean way.
Man, nobody's ever said that about me.
I'm just saying, like, I had the overlay set up. Oh, now I messed that up.
I should probably mute it so I don't have to hear myself.
I messed that
up. Oh God, you have me like zoomed in. Why do you have so much of my face, man?
That's what I'm fixing right now. See, it's already all messed up. Listen, leave me alone.
See, like I said, guys, let
me fix it.
Oh, he is frozen in Discord. You're right. What happened?
I'm frozen in Discord?
Just on my end.
What?
Let me do this real quick.
Oh my gosh.
Whoop. Whoop. Let's bow out of that. Come back to it. Oh, you started moving again as I switched the scene.
I have no idea what's going on.
I got him. He's back, guys.
Okay.
Wave your hands, Q. Show them that you're alive. See, he's a real boy.
Okay. At some point we'll get started, right? At some point. I mean,
you know, like I said, 6 o'clock. Yeah, 6 o'clock is when we go on. 9 o'clock, somewhat promptly. Something goes wrong eventually. We'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
pretty
hate
much.
that bar above me right now on your side, but it's fine. Do your thing.
I can make it go black, but I can't get rid of it.
Fine. It's all right, man. Don't worry about it.
I can either blow you up. If you're going to sit still, I can make you bigger again. Or I can make me smaller.
Can't make any promises, but we got it. Let's rock and roll.
Okay. All right, then.
Hit us with it. I'm going to keep sipping my beer. I'll let you talk for a minute.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of What the Wednesday. That's how that intro goes. I totally mucked that one up this time. Man, episode 26. Now, I know last week I started to say it and I realized that there were more than 50 weeks in a year, you know, but this is episode 26, which puts us officially halfway through an entire year's worth of What the Wednesday content. So,
Amen.
I mean, formalized, you know, we had, like we said before, we had a couple of those fun ones where we were just kind of messing around, and then we started going episodic. Is that the way you phrase that?
Ooh, yeah, I think so.
So we started doing that, started actually titling our various podcasts and things. So, but once again, Hopper, it's been an amazing half a year. Thank you for being my, I don't like calling you co-host. What is the like, I don't like saying co-host because I feel like it's the backup. What do you call like your? It's a co-host, right? Is that the right term for that?
I mean, like I would call you the co-host.
Yeah, I always feel like
we don't refer to ourselves as the host,
right? But whenever you look at credits in a movie, you have stars and co-stars, right? Like the co-stars are like the half stars. They made appearances or something like that. They're not the important people. True. So I always feel like every time I say that, I'm like, I don't know if I'm saying that wrong with the alternative.
I mean, you could say like your fellow host.
My fellow host. There you go. Yeah. There you go. That would be the way to say it. There you go. Okay, I like that.
Partner
Yeah.
in crime, partner. That's a good one. But yeah, fellow member of the tandem.
Fellow member of the tandem.
What the Wednesdayer. You got a lot of options. So, bro host. Oh,
bro host.
Bro host.
No, that's for
Jenny. That's the one.
Bro host is for bro host is for when we start Back Porch Club. That's what that's for.
Yeah, that's true. I look forward to those days. Once all this goes away.
Yeah, all this, all of this. Yeah, exactly, exactly. All of this, right? Yeah. All of this, right? Yeah, exactly. So. Yes. Exactly. So last week we talked, and the title of last week's podcast was formally listed as if you're streaming to zero chatters, you're streaming Correct. To zero viewers.
Yeah,
right?
No matter what the viewer number is. Yeah.
Right, no matter what the viewer is, if you don't have chatters, you're not really having active viewers. And I think that word active there makes a vital part. And yeah. as you
EPOS Vox had said that, right?
Sure. Yep.
And we disagreed on some points, but there was some validity to it as well. It just wasn't right that he targeted it so directly the way he did.
Directly. Yeah, I think there's again, we talked about it. If you guys want to hear that whole conversation, go back and listen to last week's episode because I don't want to retitle the whole thing. I would plug. And I was about to. I was literally about to start going off on it and I was like, you know what? I better just slow myself down a little bit there. But we should expound upon that a little bit more, and I think that's kind of what drove us into tonight's idea, where the title being, I don't even remember what I titled it. What did we title? What's the official name?
Why doesn't your chat interact with you?
There you go. That's exactly right. Why doesn't your chat interact with you? But what's your what?
I labeled mine. I labeled mine how to handle your viewers and your chat and your lurkers.
Okay.
Because obviously every channel. Every show, every program here, your community's made up of different pieces, and they each have their role. And as such, we have to kind of treat each accordingly. You have to gear the content in both directions because we want to make everybody happy as best we can. So that's kind of today's topics.
Right. So as we've been kind of saying that, and I titled mine, why don't your viewers interact with you? Because I wanted it to kind of baseline around, last week's discussion and kind of say that, yes, we know lurkers exist, right? Yes, we know that happens, but what's going on with your active viewers? Like if somebody's actively watching your chat, why aren't they hanging out with, why aren't they talking with you? And it's an interesting thing that I want to say that I didn't notice it much a year ago. Yeah. A year ago, I didn't notice it that much. And maybe again, 2 weeks ago, I think we had that whole discussion about the segregation of the, small streamer, mid-tier, big streamer kind of thing like that, where we were talking about how you hit this weird category between like that 30 to 150 viewer market. Right. Yeah. Where, you're getting visibility in the channels, but you're not necessarily the biggest one in the channel still, but you're, how does that fit? You're a target for raids and things like that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's just kind of how do you go about and if
looking for the right words. Right?
Yeah. Well, I'm looking for the right way to phrase it. If you if you have visibility in a channel and you're getting unique viewers, make sure that's that you're getting unique views for your channel. Yeah. Why are we so frequently today seeing channels that have this high number? And I say high number because again, we say that anything above 50 is in the top 1% of Twitch, roughly, right? They're doing really well considering, even 50 is a high number in those standards, in analytic standards, right? Or in
for sure. Metrics. Yeah, as far as where you rank amongst all streamers.
Why is it that channels with 10 viewers can have, chat every 30 seconds, but those with 80 will have a chat every 5 to 10 minutes.
It is wild. I think, first off, the reason we might not have noticed it back then when we were kind of first starting, I don't think we were looking at streamers at that size yet. I think we were still, in like the 5-ish average for viewership. So when we were peaking in other channels, we were looking at like the 10 to 15 range because that was our goal. We wanted to see what they were doing to get to that point as well. And I feel like that's still the point where you have the very active, engaged viewership. And now that we have hit that like 10 to 15 section, which we did it a year later, here we are, growth. We're now looking at the next step, and it's not what we were expecting. Not what we were expecting is this, yeah, sure, we'll say 30 to 100, 30 to 150, where you're right. I know a lot of channels I stop in, I sometimes wonder if my chat's broken. I refresh it a few times because I'll see 90 people in the channel and not a word is being said, which I get. You have your lurkers, you have your active chatters. I'm not going to say it's like a 50-50, but it definitely, maybe 10 to 20% we'll shoot for as my calculation tonight on how many active chatters you have, your viewership. But when it's 0 or maybe one person out of 80 to 100, that's just strange to me. I don't know still if there's... I know we talk about raids, like lurker raids, where they just kind of keep getting passed on, which is fine. That's a great part of the growth here on the Twitch platform. It helps you get noticed more on the game you're playing because it pushes you up a little bit higher on the list. But I don't know, man. I still can't put a finger on why it's this weird magical gap. Which it sucks because this is like the big step to getting over that partner threshold. And it seems like there's some weird magical algorithm that we're not a part of or we're not aware of. And like, I would like, to me, I've said this to you plenty of times, I would rather have 15 active chatters than 50 to 60 people in my chat saying nothing.
Right. So you made an interesting statement there about the raid, right? About the raids and lurker raids in this continuous progression. And it's interesting to see, like, I can get somebody who's 16 hours into a stream or somebody who's doing a 24-hour and they've got, if you see a steady trend progression, right? Yeah. You see a steady trend progression of where, or not even a steady trend, right? You see these big spikes, right? They'll go for 2 hours with 10 people, and then all of a sudden they jump up to like 30, and they go like 2 hours with 30, and all of a sudden they jump up to 60, and they go 2 hours because as these raids are coming in, like you mentioned, the lurk format of the raid kind of just carries on, and it just kind of hangs out in the stream, right? It's not active, it's not participating, but it's a view, right? A view's a view, whatever it is at that point, right?
Eyes on.
But what gets weird about that is if you're not, as you grow on the channel and as you continue to push yourself a little higher and higher and higher up the list, you should start seeing more natural growth at the same time.
Yeah.
You should see people showing up, and that's why we mentioned unique viewers in the beginning. You should see people showing up that are there because they're clicking on your content, not because of the raid, right? Because as the raids happen, you're having more opportunity to get visible to other people that were just browsing.
Yeah.
And
no, true.
If you're not seeing that, what are we doing wrong? Right? Like that's where that weird part comes into me. True.
Yeah, like if you're not seeing the organic growth on top of that, if you're not getting the people that come in and join in active chatting, I was wondering, somebody mentioned, do you think there's a mob mentality to it as well? Because you know how we were talking about, people come to channels and they kind of learn what the streamer expects of their content and their community. Do you think that when they come to a room, a new viewer, and there's 80 people and no one's chatting, that they accept that as the norm and they themselves don't say anything either?
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible, but I would almost have to say that from my experience and everybody I've talked to, and maybe I've just got a whole bunch of like-minded people that hang out with me, like, and nobody thinks anything different. I don't know, but I would say that everybody that I've kind of talked to about that topic has basically said, if I click on a stream and they've got that many viewers and nothing is happening and I have nobody to engage with, and listen, if there's 90 people, or even if there's 30 to 40, if there's 30 to 40 people in the stream and I'm getting one-on-one attention with the streamer, it's weird, right? Fair. You jump in chat and you're like, "Hi, chat. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Joe the Viking, you're streaming today. How you doing today?" I'm just trying to make up a name. I don't know. We've been playing a lot of Valheim, so Vikings are on the brain right now, right?
Joe the Viking. It's a good name.
So, as you've been doing that, like, as you do that, and there's, like, the streamer just immediately recognizes that you exist and immediately starts talking to you and immediately starts connecting with you, that one to me says that it's not that he's not engaging, he's doing the right steps, right? Yeah. It's not that he's not a part of the process. He could be a great streamer. He could be a great person, but it still feels weird to get one-on-one attention. I get 20 people. Yeah. I get 20 people in stream and 10 to 15 chatters, right? 10 to 15 chatters with 20 viewers. And I have a hard time keeping up with it. We've talked about this. Like, I love the concept of growing as a streamer, as a content creator. I'm dreading the concept of having to actually learn how to manage that on a regular basis, right? Slow mode is going to be our best friend. I'm gonna force moderators to, like, sit in Discord and send me private messages and be like, "Hey, you missed this one. Hey, you missed that," because that's all I'm going to be able to do at that point, right? But there's just something that it leaves a sense of odd, and maybe I'll hang out for a little while, but I won't even hang around. I won't take this concept of mob mentality to say, "Hey, I'm just gonna sit in the corner and watch," right? I won't even do that. I'll be like, "Yeah, it's not my thing. Thanks though. I'll see you around." It's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, it definitely does feel strange because I don't know, like, I guess, like you're saying, the people I talk to, the people I'm around, that's just not my view of Twitch as a whole, of some silent watching community. You go into a lot of channels and you expect, the chat's just screaming by, which is why you have things like slow mode. And I agree when we have the, 15, 20 nights, it's nice to even see chat interacting with each other. And, you can kind of watch the conversations and chime in here and there. Which just, again, helps time pass. But I've never been one to follow the norm. Like, if I pop into a channel and nobody's saying anything, I like to be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And, I'll start a timer in my head. And if I don't hear anything, within 60 seconds, barring that they're in some, like, crazy firefight in Warzone or something like that, I agree with you, I move on. And sometimes it won't even be a chat message directed at the streamer. I try to poke and see if anybody else is like, "Hey, how's everybody doing?" You try to interact with the community as well, because that's part of networking on Twitch too. And when you don't hear back from that to me, like you said, it just is, it's awkward, it's strange, it sets off red flags, and it's just not the content I'm in for as far as Twitch is concerned. So I don't know, man. There's something going on, because it does seem like I'm not going to say it's the regular or more common thing I see in channels that size, but it's definitely become more apparent as I start to, I'm not going to say creep, but peek in on those above us in viewership.
Now we've had discussions in the past, and I'm getting kind of, as I get more experience, we've always had these, we go back and forth and about these rating topics and things like that, and I would say that from what I've experienced, I think the biggest impact on these high viewerships, low interaction streams are generally because of heavy rated channels. Now we've made references in the past that being a part of that the value of rating as a small streamer and the value of recognition. Now here comes the weird factor in that.
All right, I'm ready.
Because, we've said that you always want to raid up. You always want to raid to the bigger guy. You always want to have something because you're getting more eyes on you as you're raiding.
Yeah.
What if you're raiding to somebody that has 0 interacting chatters?
Yeah.
Does that bring
I've been there.
Does that bring value to your raid? I mean, you're bringing him, especially if you come from a very, very active channel, right? Like if you're a channel that has a lot of activity and you go into somebody and you raid them and their channel has almost none and you're just like, what happened, right? Like where and your chat, your community is now the only group chatting to this guy. And again, it could be going well. Like the chat interactions could be great. He could really engage with your people. He could be a very like-minded individual. He could do a lot of things that you enjoy. But it just comes down to being a little odd.
Yeah.
When you could raid somebody else and get more value out of it. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it's like it puts a pin in your head and says, Did I make the right decision there rating that person? Should I have waited or picked somebody else? Right?
Yeah. Because as far as raids concerned, if you're going into a channel, obviously, you're raiding to help bring some people to their community and also hoping to get a few in return. Again, it's not ever going to guarantee followers back, but odds are better when you're in a chat with more active chatting viewership. You drop in on 80 lurkers, nobody's going to come follow you. There's no chance anybody's going to come find your channel. There's no chance you're turning somebody into potentially a viewer for yourself. So I agree. So again, that's why, even me, rather have the 15 active chatters. You want to, I guess that's an argument of not always raiding the bigger guy, is raid the most active chat for the channel you're looking for. I guess to alter our previous statement. What do you think about that?
I would always, I guess yes, right?
Yeah.
But I still think the effort of trying to raid up still makes sense, right? Still try to raid up, still try to push yourself a little further up the food chain. Again, more impressions equals more visibility, right? Equals more opportunity. So, but the thing is finding that channel that has that many people plus they're active, right? That's where the challenge comes into play, and it's not always going to be the first one you find, right? It's many times it's not even going to be close.
True. Now, just to quickly sidestep on that one, do you think there's like a window when you have your community, you're winding down the end of your stream, and you're talking about raiding out? Do you think there's like a time window where if you haven't found somebody to raid yet, some of your viewers are going to be like, all right, well, this is going too long. I'm going to call it a night here.
Like
5, 10, 15 minutes, do you think?
I can tell you 100% every time. And it's a visible thing. And I almost wonder if it is some of the lurk, like the majority of the actives don't go on the raid. Every time I say I'm going to raid out, I see 25% of my viewers leave.
Yeah, that's fair.
After the number, like I start saying, okay, guys, stream's about to end. I'm getting ready to raid out. We're going to go find somebody that's either playing the same game or something, whatever it is, right? Like I'm going to scroll through just chatting and find the first guy with a beard. I don't know. I'm just, whatever. Like,
I like it.
And so whatever it happens to be. But as soon as I start making references to rating, I'll see a 25% viewership drop, right? And I think that's your active viewers that are there to see you, right? And they're just signing off for the night or whatever it is. I mean, I stream late into the night for all coasts, right? 3 a.m. East is still midnight West, right? So, there's a lot of viewers that are like, when Q gets done tonight, I'm done, right? Like that's sign off when he's done.
Make it that late.
If they can make it, if they can keep up, And so totally fine. Like, I get people don't always want to go on the raid, right?
Absolutely okay.
Right? People don't always want to go on the raid. And I'm not saying anything against those people, right? Like, that's their prerogative. But I'm saying you're totally right that as soon as you start mentioning raids, you will see a drop, especially if you waste time, like, and you don't make it an active part of, like, if you're just sitting there, like, kind of like, hey guys, hold on, I'm looking for somebody, right? And you're just trying to, like, and you're just, I want to say Googling, but you're twitching, looking for channels, right? You're just scrolling through the feed looking for a channel that you want to hit, right? Yeah. It totally crushes the momentum or the piece of sign off, right? Yeah. So that's been my thing, right? For the past 2 weeks, I just started it, right? For the past 2 weeks, when I do get ready to raid out, I will actually watch the guy for a few minutes and talk to Chad about him and be like, hey, this is what I want to do, or this is why, if somebody says, hey, go raid this person, right? Like, hey, go raid this person. And I'm like, okay, I'll pull him up and I'll be like, hey, cool person. Yeah. I'm not going to raid him though. Like, this is not going to happen. And this is why I'm not going to raid them. Right. Blah, blah, blah. And I'll give him feedback on it and be like, hey, this is the reason, this is what happened. This is, and it just doesn't feel like it connects to my channel tonight. Maybe next time, maybe in the future, bring him back up again and I'll give him another opportunity. Like, there's no hate, there's no spite, there's no whatever, but tonight, that's not the mood I'm in. That's not who I want to go hang out with after stream. Right. And
that's fair.
And that's always been my kind of thing now. And it actually pulls them up. Like, I still have my camera on. We're talking about the stream. We're talking about the overlay a little bit. We're talking about, what's going on. Like, honestly, if you don't absolutely love Valorant, it's a boring game to watch. Right?
I played a lot of Counter-Strike, and I agree with that statement.
So I get recommended people that are playing Valorant all the time, and I almost immediately be like, no, I'm not going to raid that person. I'm sorry. Like, if I know they're playing Valorant, I'm like, I'm sorry. It's not something that I want to go and sit and watch after I've gotten done streaming. It's just not something fun. So I definitely think that you have to have some involvement there and some connection to your community when you're trying to go through the rating process.
Fair.
Now,
I agree with that. Yeah, definitely never just go to the first person somebody throws out, because you never know. It's always good to inspect, peep in real fast. Sometimes, there's channels that like to ignore the DMCA rules and they're playing music that they shouldn't be in. Stuff like that, where I don't want to expose my community, that kind of stuff. So I agree that it makes sense to peek, on them real quick.
Now, continuing on a little bit about that. I've noticed too, if you use the raid up if you use the raid up logic and you're on a stream team, does that falsely, or does that what's the word I'm looking for? Does that give it basically always boosts the biggest guy, right? Because
is it inflating their numbers
artificially,
right. In a sense?
If you have a channel that's, either always live, they're always live, right? Like they do 14-hour streams every day or whatever it is, right? Or they are kind of the biggest. They're like not super huge, but they're the biggest one on the team. So if they're getting all the raids, then all those lurkers are hanging out in there. Do you feel like raiding? So do you feel like raiding inside a stream team is valuable to you, or in general? Do you feel like raiding inside of the stream team should be valuable?
So, I mean, this is a good question, especially because I just joined one, a couple of weeks back. The casual organization of global gamers. But and a lot of them too, they play different stuff than I do, so I like to peek sometimes when they're playing off games. I think it's good to sprinkle it in once in a while. I don't think it's something where you have to do it every time you're raiding out, otherwise like, oh, why are you part of this team if you only raid out to them once a week? Where again, it's your content. You have complete control over who you share your community with and who you expose them to. And that's fine. Stream team, you're there to support each other in any way you can. and sometimes that'll be a raid. But I don't think there should ever be any requirement to do it on a regular basis. But I can see what you're saying. It definitely will, I guess, but that's the point of the stream teams, right? To help you're there to help boost each other in a sense where it's not artificial boosting, because we talk about all the raids that go around. It's just part of being on the Twitch platform.
Strategic,
we're always trying
strategic
to keep people,
boosting.
Yeah, I guess I would say strategic boosting is a better way. And I feel like sometimes boosting comes off with some negative connotation that it shouldn't have. It's strategic assistance, support, strategic support.
Strategic
Sounds like
support.
We're playing some combat battle, but it's part of why you do these stream teams. It's to do collaborations. It's to have a list of go-to people to raid out to if you can't find someone in one of your said categories of the game you're streaming. It's nice to have that as like a plan B or another option. And, again, you can make friendships and get some regulars that you raid out to when you see them, and it's a good thing. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it or it should be looked at in a bad way. But don't just do it to do it,
Right. Don't do it out of obligation. Still, I'm just making sure. Don't do it out of obligation. Still make sure that the content that the individual is putting out is still on par with your brand, right? Don't just raid into a stream team because they're a part of your team, right? Yeah. Make sure it still brings value to your content too before you just, here you go, take my people, I'll see you later. Yeah. Right. You want to keep them in, if you're taking an effort to build a global community, right, between a stream team or through a group of gamers, then you should be looking to keep all the viewers you can inside that global community, right? Yeah. I can get behind that. I can understand that.
Yeah, because with everything, you're trying to help grow your viewership, so you have to find people who potentially have some shared interest. So you can't jump to some polar opposite game that, or whatever it may be, not necessarily game, some polar opposite content of your own, and expect to help that more than raiding out to somebody who's just playing the same game as you. So yeah, strategic support. I'm going. That's my new. That's your new. My new phrase.
Okay. We'll give it to you.
Got there eventually. Thanks.
So that kind of leads me into the again back to the main title. Why don't your viewers engage with you? And I say that knowing even myself that I very, very often, and I don't know what causes it. I don't. So we both know, we both have a strategic plan. We don't watch view count. We're not staring at view count like a hawk while we're streaming, kind of thing. It's not a thing, and you shouldn't care about it. It shouldn't be the fact that you're, it shouldn't be the metric that you're driving yourself off of. But every once, after a stream, I'll go look at Sully, and I'll look at the numbers, and I'll look at the counts, and I'll see a peak, right, where I'll go up 3 or 4 people. And I'll kind of remember, and I'm like, I don't remember new people showing up at all during the stream. I don't remember seeing a new name at all in chat for the entire night. So that's definitely the viewer number is definitely higher than the number of people I remember talking to.
Yeah, so which is always going to be the case, I feel.
So why did the new people not want to hang out?
And it jumped up and then went down.
Yeah.
Any interaction from them. Okay,
it jumps up for 5 minutes or something like that, and then you'll see it just trickle back down, and it goes back down to its normal standard number or something like that, right? And I always wonder, it's one of those things. Why don't they interact? Why don't they engage?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they just don't like me for whatever it is. I don't know.
Hard to believe, Q. How can anyone not like you?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe we talked about thumbnails before. Maybe they see me in the llama suit in the thumbnail, and then they finally get into the stream and the llama suit's gone and they're all disappointed. I don't know what it is, but
I mean, I agree, because I know we talked about too that the smaller streamers, we usually feel for the most part those viewers seeking us out, because again, it's not easy to find people streaming to 5 to 10, depending on what the game may be. Most of them, we like to say, are probably looking for more of a connection with a streamer because those smaller numbers allow us to be more interactive with our chat and our community. There might just be some that aren't. There might be some that are just looking to watch some good gameplay, which God knows why they chose whatever game we were playing on any given night. But I don't know. Maybe they don't like our voice. I've had stuff like that. I've walked into a channel and be, man, that guy sounds weird. I'm out. But I don't know. I guess that's part of the fun of it. You can kind of critique your own stream at that moment. Go check out what happened in that 15 minutes. And if you can't find anything, don't think about it too much. Don't let yourself rack over it and like, God, what did I do? I need to fix this. How do I keep those 5 people next time? But it is weird. I agree with you. I'll see bumps of like 4 or 5. It's never just 1 and then 1 leaves. It's always like 3, 4, 5, and then it drops down. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, not everybody's gonna love us, Q. Unfortunately, I got no answer for that one. Besides,
well, I mean, I wouldn't even say
part of the platform.
I wouldn't even say it's us, right? I wouldn't even say it's us. Like, I have a very, very bad precedent set that when I'm not when I'm streaming, but when I'm like actively chatting with people and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the whole like alt-tabbing out of a game to go back to the Twitch window to chat and etc., right? I pull up on my second computer, I pull up Chatty.
Okay.
And basically the chat bot. So I'll leave the browser window on my main monitor, and then I just have Chatty open on the laptop. And Chatty has the ability to show when viewers... it shows names when viewers join and leave. And... yeah, it's a little
stress me out.
It's a little nerve-wracking. It really is. Because, I mean, you see the bots come and go, right? You do, like, whatever. You see the bots come and go as they time out or they got to refresh or whatever it is, right? But you see names pop in and it says join. And then 5 minutes later, part. And it's that person's gone. And I'm like, and it's not me. It's like I'm watching other channels and I'm like, what did he do wrong? He didn't do anything wrong. Why didn't you want to talk to him? Come back here. I'm about to send you a message on Twitch right now and say, what are you doing? Get back over here.
Why'd you leave? I mean, it wouldn't be a worst case scenario sometimes to reach out to kind of get some sort of information. Like, why? Like, I'm not judging, but why did you leave? Why didn't you want to stick around?
Nobody's going to answer that.
Research. But to me, that's like when you're texting somebody or sending them on some sort of message service where you can see when people are typing. And you say, hey, and then you see the bubbles appear, and then they disappear, and you get no message, and you're just like, what
happened?
What's happening? Like,
the bubble appears.
You were typing something, you read, you had something to say, but now you don't? And then now I'm waiting here 15 minutes later, and now you say something? What happened? Like, it's just, I feel like it just makes you go into your own head more than you should, and...
But it's an interesting thing because... like, there's no one thing that I will say that is very, very difficult as a content creator in general, on just about every platform, there's no survey system. There's no viewer feedback form. There's no... yeah, I mean...
could you imagine every time you left someone's channel, it gave you like a little like 1 to 5 smiley faces option and like, how was your experience today on the Game Hopper?
But no, I mean, I would want like
I would love to hear it.
I would want like, why did you click the X? How was the audio quality of the stream? How did you like his camera? Did he have RGB lights? Were they changing colors too fast? Like, just, I mean, like, I would go through like this 90 questions or, whatever it is, this survey, just because that's one of the things that I think that I'm trying to get down to is trying to say that I think the hardest thing as a content creator in general on any social platform, you could even apply this to Twitter, you can apply it to TikTok, you can apply it to YouTube, on just about any social platform, when you're trying to grow and it's not working, you can't, it's hard to find out why. Like, you can hire for streaming specific, we're going back, right? You can hire a stream coach and they can give you feedback and you can try to do those things, but that's still not a guarantee that you're going to grow, right? Like,
No, yeah.
Unless you have an opportunity to actually see some sort of metrics from the viewers that aren't like, why didn't you click follow? It's a free button.
Yeah.
Click the follow button, please. Right?
What if we take this into our own hands? We create some sort of
survey portal,
content creator feedback, and we just start spreading it around to people. We can post in our Discords, for those who come around regularly and things like that. And I don't know, we collect some data, spread it around, see how far and wide we can get this survey out there.
I mean, I'm definitely down to create a Google Forms doc or something like that, right? I mean,
I like it.
It's an interesting idea, and it's also, I mean, it gets a little weird. Your viewers are like, oh, he just wants me to type in something else again. He wanted me to join follow him on Twitter. Then he wanted me to follow on Instagram. Now he's telling me he's got a TikTok because finally he thinks TikTok's cool.
Yeah.
And then I got to join his.
You gotta expect some people won't want to do this.
Yeah, no, I got you. But if you get a couple, like what did you like about? It could be what did you like about today? What didn't you like about today? What was the what was the most impactful moment of the stream, good or bad, right? Like there's a couple things that you could do, because there's a lot of times where like I'll have something spontaneous planned in my head.
Yeah.
And I try to play it out and I'm like, wow, I felt like a total idiot doing that. I wonder what people watching really thought. Like, I have no idea. The dance party thing that I used to do all the time.
Your poor knees, man. How are they doing?
I can't do it anymore, right? Like, I just can't. It's unfortunate.
Getting too old.
Yeah. But the dance party thing that I used to do all the time, that it turned out as like a spontaneous moment because me and Invis were joking about how bad our dancing was, and it just turned into this spontaneous thing, and it seemed to rile people up. And then like I remember like the first couple times I did it, it was like nonstop. Like people were creating that moment or whatever, and I was like, okay, now we got to set some ground rules to this thing because it's getting way out of hand. But like
all redemptions need limits.
It was an opportunity. It was an opportunity where I said, okay, this is kind of cool, right? This is something that's getting attention, and people are actually commenting in chat that they think it's silly, it's enjoyable, it's content, whatever, right? Like, okay, cool. I feel like a complete fool in this little room trying to break it down.
For the sake of the content, Q.
Yeah, for the sake of the content, I was like, you know what? Whatever works, right? At that moment. That was
your one clip that went semi-viral, right?
Oh my gosh.
A little bit as far as your clips go.
That was a quote moment. Quote created that little thing, and
those things are great, I think too. But it's a matter too. You can end up overdoing it. Like you said, even for you, like the fun is there when you do it a couple times. But as a content creator, when you're asked to do the same stupid thing 17 times in one stream, it's not fun for us anymore either. Like, and that then shows for you guys. It's not as enjoyable. And sometimes I think because that stuff gets burned out or overused too quickly, just like hearing a song on the radio 50 times, you don't want to hear it anymore.
You've got your 10 regulars, right? You get your 10 regular viewers, and they want to see it one time. But then you get rated and somebody new sees it, and they're like, "Oh, that was funny. Do it again." And then somebody else shows up, and they're like, "Hey, check out what this guy does when you do this." And then it turns out, and then your 10 regulars are like, "Okay, for the 45th time now."
Yeah. Woo! Yay! Yeah. Oh yeah, but fair, very true. It's a casualty of the content.
It is, and maybe that's been my biggest struggle, is the fact that I work professionally in data mining, right, and in analytics and in user feedback information, right. It turns
man, make a survey. Just saying.
Well, it turns into this idea where like this doesn't exist, and it becomes really hard to figure it out, right? Like to figure out what exactly you need to do to get better. You can watch all the videos you want. You can, you can listen to all the podcasts you want. You can do whatever, but if you don't have a way to engage it with your community to understand exactly what they want, because everybody's going to tell you, right? Like, this is what you need to do. We'll use, like Harris's example. You got to engage with chat. You got to make sure that you're making eye contact with the camera. You got to make sure that your audio and video quality is set up right? Like, and that's it. That's all they give you. And I'm like, okay, cool. I've got that.
Yeah. Or they give the advice that's geared more towards the bigger streamers than the ones trying to get there.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, I've done that. What now? Right? Like, there's nothing. And every time people see those numbers, right, just like we talked about, you see that spike and dip, spike and dip, spike and dip. And you can consistently see it through some people's streams. And you want to say, what am I doing wrong? Why won't people engage with me? I'm chomping at the bit to talk to somebody new. I want to learn. I want to get to know you. I want to know you, right? Like, and
get to know you.
Yeah. And like, how do, if they're not going to make the initial interaction, you could never even know that they were there.
True. Yeah, because we can jump into that, because that's going to lead probably into the next little bit of topic here in a second. But just to go on that too, it's no one's going to judge your content better, I feel, than those who regularly engage in it. They can see your ups and downs. They know like the kind of person you are, the kind of content you're doing. And they're the ones who come back to watch. So they can tell you what they like, things they'd like to see changed. Where, sometimes you get these people, the Ashneys, the Harris Hellers, the Devin Ashes, all these people that do stream reviews where they come and judge your content. But there's some third-party eye that have never seen what you do before. So it's, I don't know, I feel like, sure, you can take some of it and use it and make your content better. But a lot of it, too, it's just they don't know you well enough to really judge what you're doing besides the production behind it,
Sure. And that's right. Like, they can help a stream. Maybe that's a stream coach can give you an idea, especially on a single use, use thing. A stream coach can give you ideas. They can give you things to, like, okay, you've got this color palette for your logo, but your panels are a completely different color palette. Whatever, things like that, where they can give you, like, the T's and I's, or the T's and I's of the details to make sure that you're getting things at least visually ready. Yeah. But when it comes down to actually putting out content that people want to be a part of, right? Like, what let me ask you this. What do you try to do if say you happen to hit go live? Say you happen to hit go live, and maybe this, I don't know if you see this commonly still today, or if whatever it may be. If you happen to hit go live, or if we have to reference old news or memories. And you're 30 minutes into a stream and you have no chat. Nobody's talking to you, nobody's engaging. What do you continuously do to try to draw engagement out of people?
Whew. So we're saying that we're assuming that people are there.
Well, you have to assume, right? Like, and that's kind of what, you're not staring at your viewer count. You're not trying to cheat. You're just going to assume that I've got my 10 viewers. They're hanging out. They're doing whatever. How do you drive, as the content creator, what do you do to drive the engagement?
So for me personally, it's not anything complicated. I don't have some grand scheme. For those of you who know me and have been by before, you can attest that this is true. What I do is I just don't shut up. I just keep talking. At some point, in my head, somebody's going to say something back. They'll laugh at something I say. They'll say something I did was stupid. They'll agree with something whatever it may be. Because what I think the worst thing that you can do is when you don't have chat being active and trying to interact with you, the worst thing that you can do is just sit there and go dead quiet.
Sure.
Because that right there guarantees, for the most part, that nobody's going to chime up and say anything. But if you're actively talking about the game you're playing, walking through what you're doing mentally, so any thoughts you're having, you're just kind of sharing them out loud, to me, usually that leads to somebody chiming in at some point. Can't guarantee it. Sometimes you might be talking to yourself for an hour before somebody chimes in, but I think that's always going to be better than just going quiet. So that's my grand tactic is I don't shut up.
So
What about you?
I think that's easy. I think that's very, very easy for playing a game. And I would agree with you. If you're doing that and chat is not engaging or something's not going on, ask a question. Every 10 minutes, ask a question. You know, say, hey, what's going on, guys? Or like, hey, did anybody catch this that happened over here or whatever, right? Or hey, what's the challenge is who's living in the who has the coldest weather right now or something like that, right? Like something just
Not Florida.
Yeah, not Florida. But just I'm just saying like some kind of random like last week or last Monday I kept asking who had the best weekend. Right? Who had the most exciting weekend? And I actually have. I actually need to go give Culture. I'm gonna create a merch item and send it to him because he had the coolest. Nice. He had the funnest weekend.
That's awesome.
Now I'm gonna put a date. I'm gonna put like a date stamp on it or something. So it's like you won. It's gonna be like a ribbon with my face on it.
Something everybody needs in their life. So you as a Just Chatting streamer, do you have different ways you approach a silent chat when you're 30, 40 minutes in? Because you're right, it's very different than you don't have a game to help drive your conversation with yourself.
So that is the most challenging thing ever. And it has been, it especially in the very, very beginning, when I first started going live and Just Chatting, right? Because, you know, when I first started out, it was Overwatch, Realm, whatever, right? Like I would go live and just play the game, right? Like that was my whole motive and that was my whole objective. And when I first started going live in Just Chatting, it was really, really hard. And I caught myself for the first probably month, I would say, I caught myself to where when those things happened, I would just catch myself like checking out Google and looking at, you know, Reddit and memes and different kinds of things like that, right? Like I was just literally wasting time and standing at the camera doing nothing, right? Like laughing, talking a little bit about what I was looking at, but nothing that would, again, if somebody's jumping in, they're going to be like, oh, this is just sad. And they're going to leave, right? Like that's what I feel like would happen, right?
Brutal.
So recently, and this is very, very recent. I've started planning, right? If I go live and chat doesn't exist for like the first 10 minutes, I will have a YouTube topic discussion, like something that I've wanted to make a YouTube video about where I just talk or something like that. 2 weeks ago, I think I did the whole, like I actually set up my webcam while I was live, right? You know, when I first turn it on, it's all blown out and the image settings are all screwed up and everything like that. So I actually went and configured my webcam after I went live because I was like, you know what? I was like, if I go live, nobody's hanging out in chat for 5 minutes, I'm just going to record a YouTube video and say, hey, I was live for this, right? And it allowed me to kill like 30 minutes, right? Until people started coming in, because there's no guarantee somebody's going to be live. Somebody's going to be there when you go live, right?
Never. You can never make that assumption.
So that's kind of my effort as a Just Chatting streamer. Have something you're interested in monologuing about, right? Whatever it may be, right? Just literally have something that you're interested in discussing, talking to yourself or recording content about, and it gives you something to go forward with. And then as people show up, you can either break the video or, you know, you can either break from the video, engage with the viewer as they show, or you can finish it out and say, hey guys, you know, just comment, say, hey guys, I'm going to finish up this video real fast. Hold on. And then just finish out what you were doing and then start to engage. And then they get to be a part of your other creative processes, if that's the case.
Right. Yeah. It's the beauty to clip that later so you can pause and say stuff.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's interesting to do it that way. And I've actually had those since I decided to do that.
Yeah.
I've had it way far and few between that I've actually needed to use it.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that I was like, this could work. Something like this. Find a way to do that. Other than that, in the beginning, when I first started doing Just Chatting, if I went 15 minutes and nobody showed up, I just would go play a game. Like I would just go play a game, right? Yeah. You know, I was like, it is sad, right? from my perspective, like watching me just stand here doing nothing, trying to be like, hello,
twiddling your thumbs, like,
hello, right? Just trying to talk to people.
Anybody here yet?
Yeah.
Knock, knock.
Yeah.
Chad, are you home?
I see 3 viewers. What are you guys doing? And it leads to a very weird experience. I don't like it. I don't want to be involved in that. So I found, you find other ways to find or create content that fits you. If you wanted to do the workout stream, or you wanted to do whatever it is, right? Like, find something for you to do. So when somebody shows up, you can be like, oh, hey, I was in the middle of something, but now I'm going to come and talk to you because you're here. Right.
No, I think that's honestly, for those who prefer to do more just chatting, that's probably the best thing you can do. Because I know we talked about beforehand, you kind of should always have an idea prepared for what your content is going to be before you go live. Never just hit that button and like, what do we do now? 'Cause that's just silly. But it's smart with just chatting, where obviously, sure, that's going to be driven a little bit more by the community and chat itself, to have something prepared to help drive a conversation with yourself until you have that interaction show up.
Sure.
It's good. Because,
Sure.
The gamers like me, it's, we can talk about the game. That's obviously, that is the topic already. It's already there. You have to have something prepared. And I think the YouTube thing's even smarter, because then it leads to content elsewhere. You're already live doing something. Might as well do something that'll help your content elsewhere as well. I love it.
That's exactly. I mean, that's the main part, right? Monday with Nathan now, right? Like, that's kind of what that had turned into. Yeah. We had the opportunity to sit and chat, a couple of times, and I was like, man, I could make this work. Like, we could just cut it and put it on YouTube, and it's already done. Like, I don't have to do anything again, and I get an extra video out of it. It's like, we can make this work. I'm great. I'm happy with that. And it is. It's super simple. Although rendering that video out's a long process, but other than that,
nobody has to watch you get slaughtered in Warzone as much. So
I make sure to clip that part out. Don't worry. That's always my favorite thing about highlight reels, is they always show you killing somebody, but they don't show immediately you doing something dumb to die right afterwards. Like, so my highlight reels always look fabulous.
It makes you look like a fantastic player.
Oh,
right?
Incredible!
That's the beauty of montages.
You should see my Valorant. You should see my Valorant highlight reels. They look beautiful.
I can only imagine, Q. But do we want to transfer to the lurker topic? Save that for another night. I know we're sitting at the hour mark right now.
Wow, that carried over a little further than I thought it would.
Yeah, it just kind of goes sometimes.
I'm
looked at the clock.
I'm down to ride if you want to. Either that, or we can table it.
I think it's going to be a quick one. So I think while we're here, we might as well touch on it.
Yeah,
because again, it transfers well, talking about waiting for that interaction to begin.
Sure.
And you have your active chatters, you have your lurkers. Both serve their awesome, amazing purpose. We love having both around. Both help grow our content and our engagement in every possible way. There's no downside to being one or the other. But when we're looking for those active chatters, as a just chatting stream, like you was talking, you're waiting for that engagement to begin. What you can't do as a content creator, in my opinion, is you see, oh, look, I have 5, 6, 7 people in chat. Perfect. Let's try to get some engagement here. Throw some questions out. Nobody says anything. So you decide to click on that chat list user button, see who's here, and start to call them out by name and ask them how they're doing. I don't like that. I see that happen quite often. I'm not a fan. I know it's even happened to me the past couple of weeks when I've been kind of lurking on some streamers just to kind of do some of my own research for stuff. I'll let you tack it a little bit more. Lurkers are lurkers. You gotta respect them.
So we've seen two instances of this, but 2 topics. I actually thought you were going somewhere else with this, honestly.
Oh,
but
okay.
But I thought you were going somewhere else with this. But I totally agree with you here that I don't care who you are. If I'm trying to be quiet and I don't want to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you. Yeah. Like, calling me out is not going to help me say something, right? I'll just pretend that I'm AFK. And you know what? You might get muted, so you'll drop a viewer too at that point, and I'll just watch you drop too.
Yeah.
It's leave your lurkers lie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say don't respect lurkers, right? We've talked, you just mentioned, they do bring some sort of value. I don't know. Let's say active lurkers bring some sort of value to your content, right?
Okay.
Because in my opinion, honestly, the raiding lurkers, the lurkers that go raid to raid to raid to raid, yes, they help boost your numbers, but
yeah, they help the visibility for your channel.
That's really it. They don't really but if you have a friend who is at work and they're pulling up your stream while they're working because they're like, hey, I can't chat, but at least I can pull it up. I love you, man. Like anybody that does that, thank you, right? Because then you're making an active effort to do something, to actually create that engagement or that support, right? Those are the people that we gotta recognize. But don't be like, all you lovely lurkers out there, thank you so much for being here today. You guys mean everything to me, because what do they mean to you in that aspect, right? Like, I really don't believe that, like, recognizing lurkers shouldn't exist, right? In that kind of sense. Just like you kind of mentioned on a personal level, like you shouldn't ever call out somebody, be like, hey, I've seen you in here for 5 minutes. Why haven't you said something yet?
Right.
What are you doing, man? Where are you at? Like, come talk to me, right? Don't do that, right? Like, there is no situation where that's the right thing to do, right? None. I accidentally did it. I actually did it in somebody else's stream.
Oh, yeah?
I told you that whole chatty thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
I saw somebody come in and it was somebody I knew and I wanted to talk to them and I was like, oh, hey, and I tagged them and I did my little waving hand, right? My little waving hand emoji, and I tagged them in the stream. And once you tag them, or you can't tag them if they're not in chat, right?
Yeah,
so, and as soon as I did that, the streamer was like, oh, I didn't realize so-and-so was here. And apparently, I don't know if it was like, apparently they were trying to get in touch with him or something like that, but it was like almost immediately after the person that I tagged left the stream. And I was like,
man.
I was like, I didn't know what I was doing, right? Like I was just saying, hey, but that person hadn't said anything in chat yet because they were trying to either, fly under the radar or whatever it was. I don't know what was going on, but and that's exact same situation. You, if somebody doesn't want to engage, don't try to force them because they're not going to.
Yeah.
And then go ahead. No.
You first.
I was going to say, and then again, on a global level, don't say, like, if you've got 80 lurkers, don't be like, you guys are my favorite people, because what does that say to the people who are like active in your chat, right? Like the way you word that, what just makes people feel like they don't need to participate, right?
Yeah, they're the ones too that are more likely going to hear it, because lurkers sometimes they might be doing other stuff, have the volume way down, in a tab. Which, again, it's great. It's showing support. We're not saying it's a bad thing, but you got to show love to everybody. I don't ever like to really call out the actives or non-actives in general. You just thank everyone for coming out and supporting in any way they could. And it goes a little bit of both ways, I think, too. It's the lurkers, let them be. That's what they like to do. The active chatters, don't ignore them. If people say something, do your best to respond back or tell them that you're not interested in chatting, whatever it may be for your content. You have to, again, they're different types of viewers, so you have to interact with them in different ways. That's all. Quite simple. I thought that would be easy to knock out.
Sure.
Where did you think I was going? Now I'm curious.
No. It was actually the global one. Remember, we were actually watching somebody else, and at the end of their stream, they said that they were like, "Hey, thanks to all my lovely lurkers" or something like that. And I was like, we both just had a cringe moment where it was like.
Yeah, it's like,
because we were having discussions the entire time again about their view count and how nobody was engaging in chat, and then all of a sudden they ended stream and it was like, thank you all my lurkers, and I'm like okay, okay, I guess. I don't know.
Thank everybody at that, guys.
Yeah, don't.
Specifically call out the group. Just
there you go.
Everybody who came to support. Boom. Bada bing. Call it a day.
So.
Yep.
I just totally lost my train of thought. I was going to table something. I was going to table something that I wanted to talk about. It was like a ticker thing on here. I'll remember. By the way, guys, I've already got next week's topic in my brain somewhere. I just got to find it again. Apparently now.
Lost. It'll come back.
But once again,
its way home.
Yep. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this podcast live on YouTube, youtube.com/QualityCzar, live on Twitch, twitch.tv/thegamehopper.
Oh, his brain is mush right now.
And for all of you, my God, this is the worst. Here, take it away, Hopper. I'm done. Take it away, Hopper. I'm out.
No, we're going to throw that out there. All you patrons who help support us, you guys are fantastic. Everybody else as well. You're all wonderful people. We have two amazing communities behind the Mike Guy /QualityCzar and behind the Game Hopper. If you're listening to this later via audio on Anchor, Spotify, wherever else you can find podcasts, or watching it on Q's YouTube channel, all of you are awesome, and thank you so very much for joining us for another episode of What the Wednesday. 26 in the bag. 26 more to come. We'll see you guys next time.
All right, for those of you that are watching on YouTube right now, we're done recording, by the way. For those of you that are watching us on YouTube right now, we will be transferring over to the Twitch side of the house. Go right now to twitch.tv/thegamehopper. Hang out with him. I'm going to hit the restroom before I hit go live on Twitch. So I will be back in just a minute or two here. Check in with Jamie, make sure everything's okay.
Galactic, guys.
Yes,
on the table,
we will be playing some DRG tonight. So let's get it. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll check you next time.